this is our host guide, and this is Harley. So introduce yourself so he can make sure he puts faces with names.
You made it.
Airplane survivor.
Amen.
This thing is tiny.
Yes, so glad to be in Israel. My heart's desire. That's come true.
You made it.
I made it. I made it.
You all made it.
Jerusalem is not for sale. יש לנו רק אחד.
That I have to translate. Jerusalem is not for sale. We only have one, the symbol of Jerusalem, and of course for Mayor Parish, the emblem pennant of the city of Beit Shemesh. Bob, will you please hand them to Mayor Parish when we meet him? This is a personal gift from Mayor Budbul to Mayor Parish. It's a book of Beit Shemesh. It's in Hebrew, but you'll see the photographs of what the city looks like and how the city was done.
We're excited that our sheriff's department is represented with us on this trip, and they will take advantage of the training and high-tech response you have to emergency situations, and we hope to incorporate that into our county and into our cities.
Guys, you need to change.
Michaela.
Go up with-
Nice to meet you.
Megiddo.
You look at over the entire Jezreel Valley, or the Valley of Israel, in front of us here on the top of this hill. And you can see who's coming in that direction. This is part of Mount Carmel, behind us over here. The gate, which is down over there, that dates roughly back to the time of Joshua. Here are the walls of the gates, just like we saw at Caesarea. Right here in front of us, we have a city gate from the time of King Solomon. And as the Bible said, Solomon fortified the cities of Megiddo, Hatzor, and Gezer. All the pioneers who came here in the 1930s, they found here what they call the swamp. Now we call it marshland or wetlands, and they drained the swamps and basically made this rather useless area into really what I said before, one of the gardens of Israel. So down here in front of us, the Battle of Armageddon. It's a Greek word from the Hebrew Har Megiddo. Har Megiddo. In Greek becomes Armageddon. We are going to be walking down these stairs, 183 stairs down. We're going to be walking along the tunnel, and then we come out at the other end where the
Now it's cold, so.
Hardcore.
I found water! Hey, you don't have to go down there. I found water here.
Oh, this is so cool! Can I go down? Oh, there's water coming down. Oh, this is that tunnel that we saw in the movie! How many tunnels? Oh, we got 25.
Look over here to the left, and there we start seeing the entire size of the Sea of Galilee. You see the cliff, sort of just above Benno's head. That's Mount Arbel, the Arbel Cliff. And there's so much here to see and so much here to do. Here on the right is the Sermon on the Mount, a traditional location of the Sermon on the Mount.
Of time was blind, but now I see the grace that taught my heart to feel, and grace my fears relieve. How precious is that grace I first believed, and my heart will sing how great is our God. Oh, everybody sing how great is our God. Sing it out. How great is our God. Sing with me how great is our God. And all we sing how great is our God. Adonai, Adonai, sing with me, Adonai, and all we sing, Adonai, first time that I met you, I knew you were the
miles from Jerusalem, and here he would be safe. So everything that we see here, most of the buildings that we see here were built by King Herod, and he spent money and did not save any money, did not save any time or effort to make this palace a place for him to live in. Now when King Herod came here, he found a mountain, big flat mountain, and what he did was build a wall around Masada. You see from the flag all the way around this wall over here. This is a double wall, an outer face and an inner face. So the Romans sent their 10th Legion down here, 10,000 soldiers, who built 6 Roman camps around Masada and that stone wall that we saw, and they began a siege of 9 months. Okay? Follow me through. Okay. And as the Romans sat here, they got more and more and more angry and upset. And they realized how to break the siege. Let's go see how they broke the siege.
When the
actually standing at or very close to the spot where Abraham told the servants, wait over here. Then God said, take your only son, your only son whom you love, and go to the region of Moriah. When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Then he reached out his hands and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from the heavens, do not lay a hand on the boy, he said, do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son. Abraham looked up, and there, caught in a thicket, was a ram caught by its horn. As we stand over here and I read the story from about 4,000 years ago, we see that gold dome over there which figures prominently. That is the site of Mount Moriah. 3,000 years ago, David's son, Solomon, where that gold dome stands, for the first time, builds the first temple on that site. Solomon's temple.
Or you lose it.
Oh, that's the good. Okay, so we are standing here, which for Jews is the Temple Mount, the location of the temple that was destroyed 2,000 years ago. For Muslims, this is the third most holy shrine in Islam, the Dome of the Rock. Because underneath that dome is a piece of bedrock. And from that bedrock, Muslims believe that Muhammad met in a cave underneath the bedrock, met the Prophet of Islam. And then from that bedrock, he went up on a ladder of light on his horse, El Burak. This site for Muslims is the third most holy shrine in Islam, after Mecca and Medina, which are in Saudi Arabia. So Palestinians here, for them, this is not only a religious site, it's also a site which expresses their sort of national identity. Everyone is allowed up here. It doesn't matter what religion you are, no one's going to ask you what religion. The first building was built here about 1,500 years ago. The building underwent a number of restorations and reconstructions. The latest was in the 1970s when King Hussein of Jordan gave that gold dome. So the Romans pushed all that stuff. Remember I said there's no cement used whatsoever on the western wall or any of the walls. Everything is dry laid stone. And you see, if you went up to the wall, you see the margin, which is smooth around the outside, and something called the boss, the little rough piece that's in the middle. Look at the length, for example, of this stone over here, the one that has a piercing in it. What the piercing is, no one knows for sure. From this corner, go along about, I don't know, 20 feet, and you see where it's broken at the top, makes like a little V. That's the end of this one single solid stone. How they moved it, how they lifted it, ramps, pulleys, brute force, strength, putting logs underneath, shimming up. You start with one corner, put a lever underneath, lift it up a little bit, stick a shim underneath it, go to the other corner, do the same thing, third corner, fourth, come back to the beginning.
on, por.
Big smile. Smile. Got her on there. Oh, look at that picture. Girl. No, wait. This thing is so scary.
Good job. Good job.
120 members of Knesset, elected a little bit differently than you guys have in the States. Here, the president of the state is a figurehead. He's not elected, he's elected by the Knesset. His role is a little bit like the Queen of England. Look on the left, what looks like a Hershey's Kiss, that white building you just see past the trees. As Benno turns right, you'll see it over there. That is where the Dead Sea Scrolls are kept, in that Hershey's Kiss-like building. So here we vote for our prime minister. He is the head of state. He's the man who runs the country. The president is just a figurehead. Okay, that's the prime minister's office.
אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו להדליק נר של חנוכה. אמן. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשה ניסים לאבותינו בימים ההם בזמן הזה. אמן.
Started the activities that we see and that we've been enjoying for the last few years. My first opportunity to come to Israel was 5 years ago with Ron Shelton when he came over. It's a great honor for us, and I got a little emotional on our first night here with the welcome because some of the children, we had been able to provide some funds to buy some of the saxophones. We see the children playing the saxophones. It gave us a warm feeling in our heart. We want to continue that relationship. And I have asked the people who are on the tour with me, some of the people who are back in the USA and Florida that have expressed a desire, they want to share more with you. Some of the Christian churches in our area have said the same thing. So tonight, I want to present to you a check for $4,000.
Thank you very much again.